My name's Scott Andersen from Okland Construction. A little bit about Okland Construction. They another 100-year company. Yeah. Started in 1918. Last year we did 1.7 billion in revenue. 90% repeat clients. Healthcare, higher education, tech, government. We're doing some manufacturing, chips manufacturing as well. John Okland, he came over from Norway. He was building ships. A little bit about me. I grew up in northern Utah on a dairy farm. Those are not my kids. We had a project every other month. We'll take the VDC department and go do a job walk. Just to get those guys, we try to get the guys out in the field. Sometimes it's not logistically possible, but just for our educational purposes, we go out and do a job walk once a month, and the family farm was kind of close to one, so we stopped by there for a minute. This guy, he's from eastern Idaho, so he felt right at home. This guy here had never seen a cow before, so that was a lot of fun. That is my family. It's celebrating the 4th of July. It's a holiday we celebrate in the States. Some of them don't know how to jump. So I started with Okland 2011 as a laborer. My uncle was a general foreman, and he needed a forklift operator. I was playing farmer at the time, and so I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll come be a forklift operator. And then because I worked in Vegas as a project engineer sometime before that, they brought me in to do punch list. And then they brought me in the VDC department. So I've been in the VDC department for about 12 years. But a couple of my first projects was I was with the superintendent, and I was young, didn't know very much. And so anything anybody said, I was like, oh, wow, that was genius. One of the things he said is, hey, you got to always think about building to finish. We'd be heading down a temporary something or another, and he'd be like, yeah, let's focus on the end goal a little bit. And then another thing he said is, always be working your way out of a job. It's kind of a bittersweet idea, but as a superintendent, as a project team, you're just working your way out of that project, out of that job. But even as a VDC guy, you have tasks, and you're never going to get rid of those tasks, but you should be mentoring those around you. So again, you're kind of working yourself out of a job. And then there's this balance between training the project team on how to navigate and run models. And do you go through how much training to do that, and versus do you have a specialist come in and do that? And anytime you add a specialist to your workflow, you've added a bureaucracy, time, and everything else, and you lose communication. So I kind of want to cling on this idea of cmBuilder coming in and kind of being that tool to better train and working our way out of a job as more people start using the model. And so a little bit about like superintendents, they'll build a Gantt chart and have a vision of what's going on. Everybody else looks at a Gantt chart and says, hey, it's Greek, right? But then with cmBuilder or Builder, I've learned some lingo. We're fresh at this, and so trying to catching on some lingo. So with Builder, the superintendent was able to go in there and communicate his vision, and what you see here is his vision of a project, and then this is the reality of that project. And it's comparable. Yeah, you could say it's cartoonish. It's not AAA, right? But maybe this color of the truck could change. So I'll just go through some stories of how we've been using it. On this project here, I'll just set the table. We have a sports arena built in the 90s for NBA. It's built in the 90s for basketball. This owner just picked up a hockey team, and the hockey is a little bit bigger than the basketball court. And so there's a fair amount of geometry that needs to change so that the fans can see the goal. So there's a lot going on there. And then in addition to that, the owner decided he wants a parking lot built over his loading dock. And to say that a schedule is tight when you're dealing with the sports arena is lacks in luster there. That unless you have a quick call to the NBA or NHL to extend the season start date, which I haven't heard of anybody that does yet. And then you're also praying that they don't make the playoffs. Like, please don't make the playoffs this year. Because that just cuts into our time. And then it's downtime, it's downtown to boot. So one of the things, and then it seems like you're in the middle of design when you start too. So it's like, hey, the deep foundations for the parking garage was still in the middle of design. They were debating on whether or not to go over auger cast piles or driven piles. And so our superintendent with cmBuilder, he got in there, he fires it up during an OAC meeting, and he says, hey, Mr. Owner, hey, Mr. Design Team, here's the problem with your auger cast piles. In order to do this activity inside the arena, I got to keep this pathway open. There is a lot of material going back and forth here. And when we do auger cast piles, you're going to have a drill rig, you're going to have a skid steer, you're going to have a stockpile, you're going to have a front end loader or an excavator, and then you're going to have a dump truck taking up my space. And I can't be doing that. Versus, and I apologize, it's small, can't really see, but if I had 3 more laser pointers, I could go here and there too. But versus a driven pile, and a quick shout out to cmBuilder, they were able to get this crane model with that driver on it within a couple days. Very, very efficient team there. But you can see how it opens up the space. And so he's able to present that to the client and the design team. And so and then I come up to the scenario here. Again, we're on campus, and the critical items for a campus is the student safety and the student experience. And so the superintendent, he's at this point he's just digging into the ground, but he's going through his schedule and he's realizing that he's coming up with a problem. He's saying, hey, look, we have our structure fence, and we got students traveling back and forth, and I'm not going to be able to load up construction material on my scaffold system. And so during an OAC, he fires it up. He has a couple other visuals put together. We got 25 feet here, and he says, hey, look, if I can push out this my fence out here, I can give you 8-10 feet of student pathway, and I get to have this access here. And because he was able to give that visualization, right, to go along with the demand, they said, well, okay, we need 10. We got snow plows that we still got to get the snow out. But he was able to get that, communicate that, and now he has his access zone. Here's a drone picture showing that, and then what we had representing in CM. Another couple of what makes Builder really kind of special for us is this story here. A couple weeks ago, our project or our pre-con BD director, he gives me a call. It's 4 o'clock. It's Wednesday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's saying, "Hey, I need you to come to the boss's office." I was like, "Oh shit." He's like, no, you're not getting fired. Just come down here, and we got a couple proposals we need to work on. And so I go in there, and they're like, hey, how long would it take to put a real clean 3D logistics plan together? And I was like, I don't know, 20 hours. And they're like, that's not going to work. Interview's on Friday. I was like, oh, okay. So worked on a little bit that night. We had a meeting, an interview prep on Thursday, and it was Thursday afternoon. I'm with the rest of the guys, they're prepping, and but kind of jumping around here. So you got to be a talented person to talk to a 4D, right? Like that takes a lot of prep and talent to have a video going and be able to speak to it. But our superintendents were able to speak to the 4D aspect of it. You know, hey, Mr. Owner, we got some lighted cover walkway here that we're going to protect it. The building is very preliminary. We didn't have anything coming in from the design team or anything like that, but it worked, right? Nobody really caught eye to that was like, oh man, that's ugly, it doesn't work. It's like, yeah, it's a building. If you want a real clear, crisp representation, the design team's going to provide that for you, right? And then in the meeting, they're looking at the RFP and they're saying, hey, look, we got on this side here, we got a deep utility that we need. This thing's 30 feet down. And so this is going to be a bit of a task. We probably want to bring this up during the presentation, let the owner know, like, hey, right after you do your graduation ceremony in May, we're going to extend our construction fence, acquire this area, do this deep utility connection, and then by the time your school season starts in August, we'll give this area right back to you. And so I was able to update this 20, 30 minutes while we're prepping on the interview. And before, with what we were using 3ds Max, we were using Lumion. I mean, you're talking days in order to do that kind of work. And so it's really been efficient for us. Another use here, we're back to that arena, and come at the start of the season, we're going to take this visual back to the city and say, hey, look, we're going to be looking for a temporary certificate of occupancy because we're going to start hosting events in there. We're still going to be working on the parking garage. Therefore, we're going to secure the parking garage work above it with the traffic going below it and the trucks coming in to load up the event floor. And so we're going to have our fire protection all done, our HVA system all up and running. We're still going to be looking to take these 2 lanes. We're going to have covered walk pedestrian access with flaggers. So it becomes that visual tool for the city to either yay or nay our TCO. And then as well, we'll use the same or similar image to talk to the client and say, hey, look, you got Benson Boone coming into town on the 8th. He's got 26 trucks that come in with him. Let's make sure we have a conversation on where those are all going. So just the way it's been working for us is just the quickness, the ease of use, the simpler tool, faster decisions. We're able to empower our superintendents, the ones that are willing to do it so far. I talked to the Hensel Phelps, like having 700 guys trained up is pretty incredible feat, considering we only have 500. But the ones that have caught on have really used it to their benefit, and our safety managers as well, using it for their orientation, using it for their protection plans. And giving people the tools they need. With that, that's all I got.